where it was killed at the state assembly level. So
it's very, very unfortunate because all this, as the chief of staff now to Mr. President, if Tinubu wants to implement local government reforms, he can kickstart it. Call the governors for a meeting, give them marching orders, allow the local government to breathe.
I was going to come in there because at the end of the day, maybe it's probably because there are no consequences. I mean, if Mr. President decides to say, if the local governments in your state are not functional, that means maybe we just stop giving you local government allocations from the federal government.
They tried that earlier on. It ended up in court.
And some people went to court. Yes, let it be. Let them dispense it fully, because this thing is about the constitution. Those who are arguing against will cite a particular part of the constitution. Those who are arguing in support also cite another version of the constitution. But the fact remains that Nigeria operates a three-tier local government structure. Federal, state and local.
The court, I think the court actually upheld the argument of the governors. But I think that when you people talked about maybe the president coming in, I was hoping you were making reference to being, would I say, persuasive about it. You know, I remember the former president, Buhari, he was quite emphatic about this local government autonomy. He kept singing, even in his inaugural speech, he kept singing it.
Was there monitoring enough?
There was no move.
Yes.
You know, it was just about complaint. But perhaps if the chief executive can do his politics of talking and
I don't subscribe to talking. It's about giving a marching order. If you give a marching order,
in a democracy, some of these governors can be quite.
But those who are troublesome can go to court.
The local governments, can they not take the governors to court? I'm just wondering. Because just yesterday you talked about a particular place in Anambra West where the place is so still timid. And I'm wondering, I mean, local government is supposed to be that government that comes straight to the grassroots. I think this is also one of the reasons why some places like that still exist. Yeah, I understand the fact that there is need for proper checks and balancing, but it doesn't mean that that particular arm of government is literally almost swallowed by the state arm. So for me, the big question would be, is it possible for these local governments to do something for themselves? Maybe try to fight their way out of the grasp of the state government.
In the Nigerian system, they cannot do that because they don't have the muscle. They are the same appendage. They are treated as appendages. But the federal government of Nigeria can give the local government's wing if they want to do it. Because like the place we mentioned yesterday, Olumbalasa, before now, that Anambra West, the headquarters is in Nzam. Before now, every local government chairman they appoint there lives in Onitsha.
Can you imagine?
So when he wants to go to Nzam once in a month, he will just enter through Ila in Delta State, cross over to Nzam.
You know,
after doing one or two things, he returns to the urban area.
You know, we've talked about representatives leaving where they represent. Maybe that way their heads will come down.
And you see that when they are being appointed, they are just appointed as surrogates of the governor. But if the federal government tries to give that local government a semblance of that the third tier of government, they will have that strength to follow what the constitution is saying. And why should states take over all the markets in Anambra when they are supposed to be under the local government? So these things are issues. So because states are allowed also to constitute their own electoral body that organizes local government election, they do all manner of things there, appoint appendages, and just give them stipends, which is not supposed to be so.
All right. On the Punch newspaper, Ondo lawmakers meet today. May declare Aiyedatiwa acting governor. Ondo lawmakers meet today. May declare Aiyedatiwa acting governor. After the peace meeting with President Bola Tinubu in Abuja on Friday, members of the Ondo State House of Assembly will meet today, Tuesday, to discuss the polity in the state. A source in the Assembly said one of the major issues on the Assembly agenda for today's plenary was the consideration of whether or not to declare the state's Deputy Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, as the acting governor following the long absence of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. The source said The House plans to sit today. Aiyedatiwa may be declared acting governor during the sitting. This is part of the outcome of the meeting with President Tinubu. And Mayemu wondering, comrade, what is this going to birth? I mean, there is already bad blood. Is this the best way to handle it?
Well, what is playing out in Ondo State is another Nigerian factor, where people cling onto office even in death. It's unfortunate that what they call it, the governor Akeredolu is not in the best of health. Anybody like Aiyedatiwa of blessed memory once said before he died, anybody can fall sick. Sickness can happen to anybody. You may be fit today, and tomorrow you can suffer terminal illness that makes you incapacitated. So if situations like that comes, you accept the situation and allow the instrument of government to go, because you can't cling on to it unto death. Because you will also know that even if you are healthy, you will leave that office at the expiration of your tenure.
So
the fact is that if someone is incapacitated for crying out loud, why must the person cling on to a particular office?
Anything to do with Igro?
It's our power. The power mongering and holding on to these things. You'll be surprised that even what is happening there, those around the man may be the people pushing on to him, as in hold on, so that they will continue that cabal stuff that used to happen during. They will like to sideline the deputy and be running things for the governor, who is everybody knows is incapacitated. So, and they are holding series of meetings trying to find political solution about it. You came back from abroad, and the first thing you wanted to do was to sack that your deputy who was holding forth for you when you are not there. And now, even now that you are not fit, you still want the instrument of government to be grinded to a halt. It's not.
By the way, this latest development, I remember Guardian was the only paper that reported it, because other papers after the meeting with Tinubu were reporting that it was agreed that Akeredolu remained the governor, Aiyedatiwa remained deputy. That was what they resolved at that meeting. It was only Guardian that reported that they were going to pronounce him as acting governor this week, and this is what is going on. I don't know, maybe he also agreed to it. He has been convinced to agree to it.
Yes, there is what actually happened is that, like in the Sun newspaper, the Asoro correspondent filed an initial report about what Guardian reported. Later on, retracted and said, pull this thing down. Instruction from the villa. This is the current situation. So Guardian may actually be using the old version. It's like Tinubu actually agreed that the man will continue to be governor.
Alright, we'll take a quick break. We'll return. We're going for the Igbo News.
99.1 FM.
The time is 10 o'clock.